We got leaks, baby. Oh, yes. It seems like every spoiler season there are a decent amount of leaks. Not spoilers officially released by Wizards of the Coast, but actual leaks. You know, that someone, maybe that works at Wizards or someone who gets product early, somebody, it's an inside thing more than likely, you know, is putting these cards out there and leaking them in places. But interestingly enough, Wizards also does cover up this kind of information. Like on their Reddit posts and whatnot, they will actually block the post or ban it or take it down, remove it, delete it, whatever you want to call it, when they see these leaks come up. And these cards you're about to see are no exception to that rule. Let's get up into them, my snowy, snowy friends. Okay. Battle for Retiguard. Retiguard? I think I said that right. It's a 3-drop. Create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. It's a saga, guys. Enchantment Saga. So your first one, you create a 1/1 white human warrior creature token. Its second one, create a 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. You know, they could have just stuck with like, no, I guess it's white and it's green. I guess this works. Okay. Choose any number of artifact tokens and or creature tokens you control with different names for each of them. Create a token that's a copy of it. So what do we have right now currently in Standard, you know, without seeing the rest of the spoilers, that this could work with? Well, right now the payoffs would be, you know, these right here. Speaker of the Heavens, you know, if you can get that life gain, you can make a copy of another white angel 4/4. If you have 2 white 4/4 angels out, odds are you're probably going to win the game, you know. But you'd still have to get to that life. You got to get to 27 life at least if you're in Standard. Archfiend's Vessel. This one, more realistic, but again, you'd have to run 3 colors. You can get a 5/5 black demon creature token. You can make a copy of that. Get another one of those. Pretty legit. Amaria's Call. You can copy one of the angels on there, okay? What else is there? This is just to give you some ideas. A Mythos of Eluna. Create a token that's a copy. This is if you're really stretching. You got to have a, what, 4 color deck then? Create a token that's a copy of target permanent. There you go. Bam. Creature. Artifact token, whatever the case may be, make a copy of it. Now you can go ahead and make copies of the Eluna, you know, or of the token you created. That would work as well. Giant Opportunity, 7/7 green giant creature token. Make a copy of the giant creature token. Why the heck not? It's a 3-drop. You got to have 2 foods to sack to get it going, but that would work also. Scute Swarm. You would think Scute Swarm, you know, but not really. Because, one, this thing dies instantly when it hits the field. If it survives, you end up usually winning the game. If this thing survives like 2 turns, you end up closing out a game. But the downside is it only creates 1 token of a copy of a Scute Swarm token. So it's not like it's the biggest, you know, best deal out there. But this card, nonetheless, is very interesting. I think it's kind of slow, though. I mean, I guess every turn you're putting out an elf, you know, that's kind of, or you're putting out a token at least. That's kind of cool. And if you have nothing else to do, the worst you can do is make a copy of your human warrior and make a copy of your green elf warrior as well. If all else fails. If you have nothing else you can copy, at least you got that. Now you got 4 creatures out for the low cost of 3 mana over the course of 3 turns. I don't know how good this is going to be, but again, there are some shenanigans, you know, afoot you can play around with this card, and you might end up getting a nice payday with some big crazy token, you know. Even your Shark Typhoon, you know, could probably, it doesn't fit well in that build, but I'm just saying because it will create a large shark token with Shark Typhoon, you know, you can make a copy of your shark token. And there's also that big, it's like a 7-drop hexproof Kraken that comes out. Copy that too, man. Why not? Okay, those are just some ideas. Then we have Vorniclex, Monstrous Raider. Phyrexia. Oh man, Phyrexian Praetor. This thing's cool. It is a big old 6-drop. Legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor. Mythic. Trample, haste. If you would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. If an opponent, this is weird, if an opponent would put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, they put half that many of each of those kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead, rounded down. So you're getting a huge jump on your side of the field, but you're limiting your opponent. You're cutting them in half, wrong kid, dad, kind of deal. So very, very interesting. It's like a doubling season in a sense. Obviously, there's a lot of differences, guys, I understand. But, doubling season does read some similar text for at least one of these parts here. The fact that you can put a bunch of counters up on there, what could you do with that? The Ozolith. That's right. First thing I thought of was the Ozolith, man. If you would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many of those counters on kinds of counters on that permanent or player instead. So Ozolith, whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. So now if that creature were to die and you had out your Raider, you would double the number of counters you're putting on the Ozolith. Which, if you had something like the Garenbrig dude, the giant Garenbrig dude, he's a 3-drop, comes in with 4+1/+1 counters on it. If that thing dies, you got Raider out. Bam, you got 8 counters now on the Ozolith. And I don't know how, but let's say your monstrous Raider survives, which that could happen. You can take those 8 counters and just smack it onto this thing. Now you got a 14/14 trample out there. The cool thing I like about this card is it has haste. Not a whole lot of green spells have haste or creatures, but the creatures that do, usually in green, have a very high casting cost. You're going to pay a lot. There was a recent one that dropped last spoiler season. I just made a deck using the card, and this thing's nuts when I get it to work. You got to check out the Brawl deck after this. It's the video right before this one. I'll leave it at the end screen. But, man, when these big monstrous green creatures hit, you can wrap up a game really, really quick. So it's interesting to see haste, because haste, when you usually think of haste, you think of what, red? Yeah, mostly, But there are some hasty creatures that they're throwing up into green now, which is very, very interesting. So I'm pretty excited for this card. It looks like something fun to build around, and especially like in a Commander Brawl kind of thing, it's going to be a lot of fun to play with. So really, really cool card. Then we have Arnie Broken Bro. Can I call him Broken Bro? Can I call him the Broke Bro? We all got that one friend who's just completely broke, right? Am I right? He's always like, hey, can I get this from you? Can I get that from you? Hey, you want to hang out? Well, could you pick me up? Can you do this? Can you do that? We all got someone like that, Nothing wrong with them. We love them to pieces, I got one friend, and man, enough said. Okay, we're calling this Arnie the Broken Bro. Arnie Broke Bro. We're calling him the Broke Bro. He's a 3-drop legendary creature, human berserker. Oh, you berserker. Okay. Arnie, my broke friend, has haste and boast. So we got a new mechanic here. Boast. I think boast has been around before. For 1, you may change your broke friend's base power to 1 plus the greatest power among other creatures you control until end of turn. Activates ability only if this creature attacked this turn and only once each turn. Activates ability only if this creature attacked this turn, so you could activate it. Okay, so he has to attack first, and then boom, that's when you can activate the ability. Okay. I had better to troll and won. I bet you did. So what could you do with this? I'm thinking, we're having a lot of giants appear in this new set. You get a big giant out there, right? And then here's some fun shenanigans you can have with it. You get that big giant out there. You got Kazal's Fury right now. It's like a fling or a thud, You sacrifice the creature, whip it at your opponent's face. Instead of having to sacrifice that large creature, you could just sacrifice good old Arnie over here after you deal with some combat damage or whatnot, instead of getting rid of your big creature. Also, something else to consider, Embercleave. Embercleave would love something like that if you have, another big threat on the field. I'm not sure how well Embercleave is going to work with this build. This is something more like probably Brawl Commander friendly for competitive play. I'm not really sure. But with all the giants coming out, I'm not competitive play, but just Brawl play. All the giants coming out, I think that Broke Bro over here, man, our Broke friend's going to be pretty cool. I think he's going to get a chance to really shine. He's got haste as well, and this thing can get pretty large. The trample is what he's lacking, So if you can give this guy trample, that's why I mentioned Embercleave, then he could really be a force to be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying? And I like that he's on it's a 3/3 with haste, not like we see a lot of creatures with haste. It's like a 3/2 3/1, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's something that dies real easy, you know, but he's got a little bit of a backbone, you know. He's got a little toughness, you know, something. 3's not the best thing in the world, but it's something, you know. Dies through a lot of removal. Anyway, cool card, I thought. What else do we have? We have the official spoiler, Blessing of Frost, 4-drop Snow Sorcery. If this is real. Now, I always say if this is real. They always end up being real. I don't remember the last time I leaked a card without saying, now this one might not be real, you know, and it was fake. Like, it did not, it's always true. It always comes true in the end. So, Snow Sorcery, 4-drop, distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures you control, where X is the amount of snow spent to cast the spell. Then draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Snow is the mana from a snow source, correct. So a snow-covered land. Expect to see that. It was kind of obvious with the packaging, you know, KALDHEIM. Plus, it's also known as Cold Home when you break that down in Nordic. Cold Home. The set's called Cold Home, guys. Cold Home. There better be snow if there is a cold home, you know, or, you know, just don't have the heat on or something like that. Whatever's going on. But yeah, so there you have it. We are getting snow back, which is really, really cool. And I think it's really neat for me personally because I started in Ice Age. I know. I'm like 18 years old now. I know. But I started in Ice Age, which was like forever and a day ago, man. You're talking like 1996 or something, 97, I don't know, way back then, maybe 95. I don't know. It was a long time ago. And there was snow-covered stuff. So that's all I knew was this icy snow-covered stuff. And back then, Ice Age was kind of a crappy block considering everything else that was out. But there was a heck ton of cards in it, you know. So it was fun to collect. And now the price is just going up and up and up, and Ice Age is a hot thing again. But now, for sure, with more snow-covered permanents, more snow lands, whatever, everything going on with KALDHEIM Cold Home, snow is back at it again, baby. Pretty cool. Yeah, so moving forward, Blessing of Frost seems like a pretty legit card. You get to draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. That's not bad either, but I mean, again, you know, keeping out a bunch of large creatures doesn't always seem to happen. It's not like the easiest thing to accomplish when you're playing Magic, you know. And if you do have a bunch of them out, if you have this, you're going to wrap up the game quickly, you know, is all I'm going to say. Unless your opponent board wipes to the very next turn. I mean, you got to watch the gameplay on the Brawl video after this. It's so insane. So that's a cool card. Here we have Elsh Norn, Harsh Ruler, a 5-drop, okay? First, hear me out. First Strike Vigilance. It's a 3/5, okay? First Strike Vigilance. Other creatures you control get +1/+1 for each different kind of counters on something you and permanents you control. That sounds crazy. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 for each different kind of counters. For each different kind of counters. Your opponents and permanents they control have. They control have. Okay, sure. Let's take a look at this real close. One, this is not a real card. If you've come across this, this is... Okay, if this is a real card, someone purposely butchered all the text on it, you know. The verbiage is just not correct, you know, not proper English at least. And Wizards would not have a card like this. Also, this has been fan art that has been done before on another card. You're looking at right here, Elsh Norn. Vision. I don't know why I always say, oh yeah, Elsh. But yeah, this is fan art from another card. So there you have it. Yeah, probably not real, okay? But could they use fan art? Absolutely. I don't see why they could not. I think the art's pretty cool. But this card's probably just not real. And here's someone that they basically debunked it. So you have Elsh Norn, Harsh Ruler. They take a big look at stuff. Number 1, art is fan art, link below. 2, Phyrexian symbol is pixelated. So it's not actually on the card, it's pixelated. 3, for each different kind of counters is incorrect grammar. Yeah, Wizards would not butcher their own grammar. That just would not happen, okay? And then holofoil symbol is hilariously tiny. Yes, that is very, very tiny. Too small to be believable. Here's a comparison size. Yeah, so Elsh Norn, Harsh Ruler is just not a card, unfortunately. But it's a cool idea. Then we have ourselves Seraph Realm Eater, which this one you guys have probably already heard spoil before. I just want to give my 2 cents on it. Whenever a permanent an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on Seraph Realm Eater. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Seraph has one or more +1/+1 counters on it, you may remove all of them. If you do, exile each other non-land permanent with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of counters removed this way. Some of these other cards would have to help this out, okay? If you're trying to go the board wipe route, you know, you're probably going to have to get more counters on this thing to wipey. I'm just saying, you know. So with the other cards we've seen spoiled even today, sure, that would be cool. This would be great. Or even if you're running, let me go back to it really quick. Even if you're running the Ozolith in your deck, you know, where you can put those counters onto this thing, then you have a nice big old board wipe that's just sitting there chilling, hanging out. And in that case, I see it's a pretty cool card. Outside of that, I mean, it's a 3/3 for 3. It's cool. You know, if it didn't say from the battlefield, if it was just milled, this thing would be absolutely busted. But you do have to actually wipe your opponents. You know, you have to actually, you got to kill your opponent's creatures. You got to take them out. You know, you got to take out their permanents at least. So very interesting card to say the least. I'm not sure how much impact it's going to be. I seen Magic AIDS actually did a video where he played with Realm Eater against the top 3 decks in the meta for Modern, and the deck did all right. He basically swapped this card out for something else, you know, and he ended up winning quite a few. Or I think he won all 3 of the matches. This card didn't really put in too much work, you know, but I think it may have saved him in one situation. It was kind of an interesting watch. But anyway, nonetheless, that's the entirety of this video. What are your guys' thoughts? What are you hoping to see out of this? Snow. I was hoping to see snow, and we got snow. By the way, we're going to be cracking open more of these mystery boxes the professor told us not to buy. And that's going to be really exciting. So let's stay tuned for that. Hopefully we get some value back out of it. I just love a good mystery. You know, don't buy singles. Go out there, live a little. Okay, buying something like this is like buying a lottery ticket, man. Buying a booster box, they're all sealed over here. Buying a booster box is like buying a lottery ticket. I mean, well, at least you're going to get, you know, something out of it, you know. Not always, but something. So a little better than that. You know, buying singles is, I think, it's if you want to complete a deck, yeah, buy your singles. But if you want to experience a new set, buy your booster boxes. Buy your product. Have some fun and live a little. I'm Joey Moss with Bad Boy Gaming. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check out that Brawl video. It should be right above my head. Yeah, so go check that out. That video is nasty. Wait till you see these comebacks and wins. It was a blast. If you guys enjoyed this video, also leave a like on the way out. Skadoosh.